This year's.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 12th, 2017 Delaware County Board of Commissioners meeting. And if you could join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks everybody. To my left, we have our Vice President as of last week, or as of Monday, Gary Merrill, Commissioner Gary Merrill. To my right is Commissioner Barb Lewis, the immediate past president, and who again did a tremendous job last year. And I want to thank you for your leadership. Our County Administrator for Zonabed, our clerk today is Sarah Denova, and we can begin.
Resolution number 17-20, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceeding from regular meeting held January 9, 2017. So moved.
Second. Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-20. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis? Aye. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We have no public or elected comment, and Mrs. Bibler is ill today, so she will not be here.
Yeah, she just took over as the new head of Main Street, and anxious to hear her report. Main Street's a very active group, and anxious to hear what she has to say. So we'll go on.
Resolution number 17-21, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch number CMA PR 0111.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-21. Mrs. Lewis? Aye. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Those were long ones. We're on page 311.
311. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
A lot of POs.
Or 315, whichever page you get. Resolution number 17-22, in the matter of approving travel expense requests. So moved.
Second. Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-22. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-23, in the matter of amending the date and time for the public hearing for consideration of the Radnor Township number 2015-1 Watershed Drainage Improvement Improvement Petition, filed by Gary M. and Lisa A. Cooper and others.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? I understand this was necessary. We had to move it forward.
The soil and water conservation district were not available that day, and it was
Okay, so we're just changing the date.
When I checked with them the first time, and oh, please change it. So we updated.
Okay. Very good. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-23. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-24, in the matter of approving a lease amendment for the secure storage facilities. So moved.
Second. Discussion.
Good morning. Kevin Savage with the Sheriff's Office. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
This is a one-year renewal.
It is, yes.
All right.
Any questions?
No, just thank you for your work.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-24. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Resolution number 17-25, in the matter of authorizing the use of Delaware County funds to assist in funding the purchase of coffee, meals, refreshments, and other amenities for a rural economic development meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Bob Lamb, Economic Development Director for the county. This is a request to fund food for an event that we're holding with the Farm Bureau and other key individuals related to agriculture within the county, so we can highlight what has been going on in the county over the past couple of years, as well as to hear from them about what some of their needs are and how we can better work together to try to bring more business to the county.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we have a very active farm community and good groups.
Yeah, I might add that I had a meeting with the agriculture community a few weeks ago, and this came out of that meeting and asked for Mr. Lamb and Mr. Leeds to coordinate setting this up. So.
And Commissioner Merrill has really helped drive this relationship, so hopefully we'll be able to move this to a next level and find areas in which we can find good mechanisms to secure financing opportunities, bring some more jobs to the county.
Great. Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-25. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-26, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Fred Fowler, Code Compliance. These listed, the values for these listed objects did not get entered in the budget request prior to your approval back in December, so we need to update the budget and request your approval today.
Okay.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-26. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-27, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriation for the Regional Sewer District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, sanitary engineer. We had budgeted for the Central Elm Creek project the amount this year, and when we had budgeted, we put it in the wrong fund. We should have separated and had professional services and land acquisition in two separate budget items, so that's why we have the transfer appropriation. So, not used to seeing you guys sitting in those spots, so.
Yes, we're confusing you.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain this. We weren't saying these spots last year.
That's a good point.
Gary stayed the same.
That's right, yeah. We almost went to the wrong seats, too. I was almost ready to go in the middle and grab the gavel.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-27. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-28, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer improvement plans for Evans Farm West Sanitary Extension.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
This set of plans has met all of our requirements and been approved, and it is the piece that will connect the underneath the railroad tracks to the Olentangy part of our system. So there's 3 different sewer plans for that, the initial phase in Evans Farm, and one was approved probably about a month or 2 ago. This is the railroad crossing, and then there's still one more that's kind of in the queue of approval. So.
And that will put the sewer lines and infrastructure in place for what part of the development then?
The first phase. It's a very large, there's a very large, it's a very 142 lots. I knew it was over 140, or over 100, so it's 142 lots.
The Lewis Center frontage between and on the railroad side of the project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So.
Just like to keep up with it because it's such an important project and want to see where we're headed. Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-28. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-29, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer developers agreement for Evans Farm West Sanitary Extension.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This is the subdividers agreement for that piece. One thing of note, we worked extensively with Eric on there's a provision in there on how we're going to be able to get the railroad right away, which is different than our normal. I think that's the only difference from our normal agreement that we present for approval. So.
Okay. What is the timing on how things are progressing and when we can expect to see some houses?
Yeah, that's we're currently, they're installing sewers to the Olentangy part of it in the actual, which would be closest to the railroad tracks in that area. Then they're going to be dropping back and constructing this, this piece that would connect. Then they'll come back and install the road street, and storm sewer, roads, the storm sewer, and also the water mains would be constructed. And then after all that is approved, then the plat would be approved, which is when homes could start. I don't want to speak for the developer, but I think that the original target was like in the June timeframe for lots to be available for building. So.
Okay, good to hear. Glad to see the progress.
Yep.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-29. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-30, in the matter of modifying the boundary of the Delaware County Regional A1, 1A Sewer District.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yeah, our past master plan had a part of northern Genoa Township being served by the lower Big Walnut trunk line, which would actually come up on the east side of Hoover from the City of Columbus's tunnel project. And as we looked at the master planning documents, so it's one of these where a map tells 1,000 words, but, you know, we had an area that makes a lot more sense to be going into the Alum Creek project, and I think I sent along those maps. So we're just moving one of our service areas because it's better served, you know, on the Alum Creek side versus taking it all the way under the lake and being able to connect it, so.
Well, I think it's logical for that reason, and we've been relying on Columbus to connect at some point, is my understanding, based on the old agreement. This is all going to be covered in the master plan as well when we get it.
That's correct. And if I had a bigger map, we had a little orange piece that was supposed to come across the lake and down into here. It makes more sense for that to continue in that area. I mean, when you see it topographically, it makes a lot of sense, so. But
I agree. Being on the east side of the dam, it makes a lot more sense to not take it under the lake, but rather to tie it into the sewer capacities on the western side of Hoover.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-30. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Resolution number 17-31, in the matter of approving an engagement letter from H.J. Umball and Associates, Certified Public Accountants, LLP, for municipal advisory services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. There is a new trend where a lot of municipalities and public entities are using the services of a municipal advisor when it comes to new bonds and refinancing existing bonds. And, you know, with more complex banking regulations as well as a lot of competition out there, this is something that they're doing to get better rates. Two different municipal advisors recommended to us, and Cy Kelly and George Kaitsa and I met with both of them and asked them extensive questions. And all three of us were very impressed with Umball and Associates and their professionalism as well as their record. They came highly recommended, and we felt very comfortable with them. So we are recommending that that you approve that we hire them to refund some upcoming sewer bonds that we can refinance and save Director Frommer some more money. And it's a good move for the county, and with this particular consultant, I believe that we can get the best rates that are available to us in the market. So we are requesting your approval.
Appreciate your researching that.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea moving forward. The municipal bond world is extremely complex, has become more complex over the years, and to retain an expert to not only help us with this transaction, the sewer bond refunding, which will clearly save us a lot of money. I understand he's going to also, at this point, we'd like him to review the entire bond portfolio for other opportunities and the timing of those opportunities.
That is one of the things that Cy and I are going to have them do, take a look at it and actually advise us on what's a sound financial decision on our existing debt. They use different techniques. There are negotiated transactions where they will negotiate with different bankers, underwriters, and recommend someone. And depending on market conditions and the types of bonds that are being refinanced, sometimes they will just ask for competitive bids. And, you know, a municipality could just decide what they're going to do, but this is not what we do on a daily basis, and an expert does this on a daily basis, so we will be using their expertise to get the best deal for the county.
And this agreement is a per-event agreement?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Not a retainer, it's not a percent of the deal?
No, they don't work on a retainer. They get a flat fee per transaction, so we will be retaining them for this particular transaction.
I like that structure as well. Their incentive is to present us with the best, most attractive financing packages.
Okay. No questions or comments? Okay.
Makes sense.
Vote.
Vote on motion 17-31. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
That brings us to administrative reports.
Okay, I'll continue. A couple of days ago, I met with the Public Defenders Commission. This was their first meeting of the year, and more homework that needs to be done. They asked me to look at Greene County's setup because they are of a similar size, and on their own, they're going to do some research as to whether it makes sense for us to continue to do our indigent defense the way we do it, or to look at another method. So there are 3 different ways out there. Ours is assignment per case. In some counties, they actually have a contract with a law firm, so instead of assigning a case by case, they might assign a block of cases or a time period.
Oh, okay.
We are not saying that that is the right way to do things, but what we are doing is since we have not looked at it in several years, and since we have grown as a county since the time that we last looked at it, we are just looking at it again to make sure that what we are doing is the right decision for our county. So just an update, nothing to decide or change at this point, but I wanted to just keep you updated every time we meet. And the last thing I have is kind of a feel-good story. As you walk towards the elevator, you're going to see a plaque. And on that plaque, it says Stork Awards. And as you can imagine, those awards go to 911 dispatchers who have assisted in the delivery of a baby over the telephone.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
Gee.
isn't that something? So Monday morning, I was walking there and with Director Brandt, and I made a joke. I made a facetious comment. I said, "Hey, Patrick, how come it's been a year or 2 years since we delivered a baby on phone?" He said, "Well, Farzan, we don't really do that on demand. It depends on if somebody calls us or not." And guess what? Tuesday night, somebody called.
Oh, my gosh.
So the dispatcher was Catherine Dobbins, and she successfully helped deliver a baby, and she will be getting a Stork Award on that plaque.
Oh, my gosh.
Good one for you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh, you're welcome.
Very, very good story. Commissioner Merrill.
I really don't have anything. I attended Finance Authority Tuesday night, and other than that, I really don't have any reports on it.
And I went to the Delaware Knox Marion Morrow Policy Committee for Solid Waste and Recycling with our Communications Director, Jane Hawes. And what we are doing is actually coming up with a new plan every 5 years. This is an EPA mandate. We need to come up, Ohio EPA mandate, we need to come up with a new plan as to how we handle hazardous materials, waste, and recycling. So it is quite extensive. We had a PowerPoint presentation from a gentleman. They have hired, the policy committee has hired a gentleman who has done this both nationally and internationally, and it's a good thing, because there are so many requirements. But the meeting was a really good one, and one of the things that they asked us was if we could see any particular needs in our community. I did mention, because I've heard from constituents, that they would like an additional hazardous drop-off place in the southern part of the county. Right now, we go to the fairgrounds for this, and the southern population is large, and so they would really like someplace where they could drop off. Yeah, hazardous waste. So I did mention that, but it'll be a long process, a few years, so I'll be reporting in from time to time on that, and that's all I have.
Okay. I got a couple of other things that I participated in a prevailing wage webinar yesterday, and that is a very complex, puzzling piece of legislation in rules of compliance. I was surprised at how complex it is and how risky it is. You know, if you don't dot all the I's, cross all the T's, you can run afoul of audits and fines and civil penalties and so on and so on. And I think hopefully the legislature will consider making changes to that this year. It's very expensive to administer. It adds significant cost to the cost of public projects, and I think it's going to be teed up as a legislative initiative for this year, and it would save a lot of hassle and save the taxpayers a lot of money. This afternoon we've got the 4-H delegation who are going to the inauguration. which is there's 5 young Delaware County residents who are going to attend the inauguration in D.C. and as part of 4-H, and it's really a neat story, and we're going to go welcome them and at a reception and kick that off and send them on their way, because that's next Friday is the inauguration. The Board of Revisions met earlier this week. We've got, this is going to be a big year. All the real estate in Delaware County is going to be reappraised this year. This is the cycle. And so they're expecting a lot of activity as those reappraisals are sent out. They're expecting a lot of appeals to whether those appraisals are fair. So they're expecting a lot of activity later on this year and next year as those appraisals and new values get distributed. Lastly, on the competitive advantage project, Jane Hawes has been very helpful in getting together a list of people we're going to engage in reviewing the list of infrastructure projects that Delaware County has in the pipeline. That the objective is to, as a region, develop a list of 5 to 10 high-priority infrastructure projects that would benefit the region economically. And so each county and jurisdiction is being asked to put together their own list, and that's what we're going to do. This first phase is to get the people engaged in Delaware County, and then also we're going to try to engage the public at large through Facebook and Twitter and so on. Jane's made that suggestion. I think it's a great idea to get more folks involved in giving us feedback on what the high priority projects would be. But again, the focus is of a regional benefit to the economy. So anyway, that's going to hopefully go out tomorrow. Deadline is the end of February for the long list to be vetted, and then end of March to have the 3 to 5 project list identified to submit to MORPC in 2020, who are the drivers of this project. So, with that, that's all I've got.
One other thing, I'm seeing here, looking at the courthouse across the street. I believe the crane is supposed to come down, King Kong is supposed to come down this weekend. It's kind of become a part of our landscape recently, so I just make that point. So
hopefully it will be a different outcome than in the movie when he came down the towers.
And one thing too, actually, Mike Fromer clued me in on this, but and the Gazette broke the story, but it looks as though the BIA is coming back to Delaware County for its Parade of Homes. So, the Woods of Cheshire.
We already have sewer installed and functioning in the site.
Sewer installed and functioning from our sanitary.
That's good to know.
Engineer. Oh, gosh, that is, yes.
Does it have a date?
I just got the dates this morning, so
Okay.
it's September again.
Okay, so they're going to...
Okay.
Like the Labor Day.
Yeah.
Did they like the Labor Day? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I thought that worked pretty well.
I thought it did too. Right. Right.
Well, good. That's good news.
Yeah, that's good
I think
news.
it's, what is it, 5 out of the last 6 years then?
It is, I think.
Remarkable.
It's a lot. Yeah. So,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you.
Okay. And I guess we have no need for executive session, so we stand adjourned.
Okay.
Gavel, very good. Gavel?
Oh, gavel. Oh.